Ethan, please pick up, I whispered as I stared at my screen, my thumb trembling over the call button. I pressed it again, listening to the ring cut off after 1 second. Come on, why won't you talk to me? I muttered. I tried again. Declined. Again. Declined. My stomach twisted. Something felt wrong, but I kept telling myself, it's nothing, he's just busy. I called one more time, praying he'd answer, but the screen flashed red. I felt heat rising behind my eyes. What did I do? I breathed as I set the phone on my shaking knee slowly. Try again, I told myself, but the thought made my chest tighten. Instead, I opened my messages, scrolling through his short replies from the past week. Why didn't I see this happening? I whispered. I tapped call again, but when it declined instantly, I pulled my hair back and stood up. Okay, no, this isn't normal. I grabbed my jacket. I need to hear his voice. I can't just sit here. I dialed Olivia. When she answered, I blurted, Liv, can you try calling Ethan? He's not answering me. She sighed. Amelia, what's going on? And I whispered, I don't know. Olivia said, hold on, I'll try him right now. I paced across my room, clutching my phone so hard my fingers hurt. After a moment she returned. He rejected it immediately, she said softly. My throat tightened. Why? I asked even though she had no answer. Maybe he's upset? Did you two fight? She asked. No, I whispered. At least, I don't think we did. Olivia paused. Do you want me to come over? I shook my head even though she couldn't see me. No. I need to talk to him. She said, Amelia, something feels off today. I swallowed hard. I'm going to his place, I said. Olivia said, are you sure? I breathed. I can't keep guessing. I grabbed my keys, stepped outside, and the cold air made my skin prickle. On the way, I kept calling him, whispering, please just answer once. Each rejection felt like a slap. When I reached his building, my heart pounded so loudly it felt like it filled the hallway. I knocked softly at first. No answer. I knocked harder. Ethan, it's me, I called. Silence. I pressed my forehead against the door and whispered, why are you doing this? I stepped back, staring at the door like it might suddenly open. Okay, I muttered. Maybe he's asleep. But even I didn't believe that. I tried one more call. Declined. Another. Declined. My chest ached as I whispered, Ethan, please don't do this to me. I felt tears gathering, but I forced them back. I walked to the stairs, sinking onto the bottom step. Olivia texted, did you find him? I wrote back, no. He's ignoring me. She replied, come home. Please. I stared at her message, hugging myself, and whispered, I don't know what's happening to us anymore. Everything inside me felt heavy as I stood up again. I can't leave without trying once more, I told myself. I walked back to his door and whispered, Ethan, talk to me, please. My voice cracked. I knocked once. Twice. Nothing. Then my phone buzzed. Olivia called. Amelia, come home, she said gently. I whispered, he won't even hear me. She said, then stop chasing him. I closed my eyes. I'm scared, Liv. She replied, I know, but you're not alone. I hung up slowly and whispered to the empty hallway, why does it feel like he's gone? I stood outside Ethan's apartment door with my hand shaking so hard I had to press it flat against the wall. Please let him be here, I whispered as I knocked. My voice felt small. Ethan, open up. I just want to talk. When no one answered, I knocked harder. Footsteps moved inside. I breathed out in relief, but when the door swung open, it wasn't Ethan. It was Lena. She leaned against the frame wearing his gray shirt like it belonged to her, and I felt something inside me drop so fast it made my knees weak that day. Why are you here? Lena asked, smirking like she already knew the answer. I swallowed hard and forced out, where's Ethan? I need to talk to him. She tilted her head and called over her shoulder, babe, she's here. The word stabbed me. Ethan appeared behind her, pulling on a pair of sweatpants like he'd just rolled out of bed. What do you want, Amelia? He said, sounding annoyed, not guilty. I stared at him and whispered, Just tell me what's going on. He shrugged and said, Isn't it obvious? I'm with her now, and you should stop coming here. Weeks. I repeated, my voice cracking. Ethan rolled his eyes and said, Yes, weeks. Don't act surprised. I took a step forward, feeling my chest burn. You told me you loved me 3 days ago, I whispered. Lena laughed behind him, a sharp, ugly sound that made my stomach twist. He tells a lot of people things, she said. I looked at Ethan, hoping for denial, but he just shrugged. You didn't see the signs, he said. That's on you. I felt the hallway spin as I whispered, How could you do this to me? He said, easily, that day. Get out, Ethan said, waving his hand like I was bothering him. I shook my head and whispered, No, you don't get to do this without explaining. Lena crossed her arms. He doesn't owe you anything, she said. I glared at her. Stay out of this. Ethan laughed and said, See? This is why I left. You're too much. My breath caught. I was never too much, I whispered. You just wanted less. He shrugged again, bored. Believe whatever helps you sleep. I steadied myself against the wall as everything inside me cracked like thin glass on that cold morning. I turned away, trying to breathe, but Ethan said, Hold on. I froze, hoping for something human, but he reached for his phone. Let's make this simple, he said. I don't want you calling me again. I whispered, Ethan, don't, but he tapped the screen. I watched the moment my number turned gray on his contact list. Blocked. Right in front of me. Lena smirked. Finally, she said. My throat tightened so hard I could barely breathe. You didn't have to do that, I whispered. He replied, I did. I felt something inside me shut down silently right then too. I stepped back slowly, feeling like the hallway was tilting under my feet. I'm done here, Ethan said as he wrapped an arm around Lena. I stared at them, unable to move. You were everything to me, I whispered. He didn't even look at me. That's not my problem. My chest stung so badly I had to clutch the railing. I hope you both. I stopped, the words dying on my tongue. Forget it, I whispered. I turned and walked down the stairs, each step echoing like something breaking. By the time I reached the door, I felt completely hollow. I slammed my door shut the moment I got home, dropping my keys on the floor as I whispered. He blocked me. He really blocked me. My hands shook as I opened my phone and clicked on his contact. Gray. Completely gray. I tried calling anyway, just once, hoping it was a mistake, but the call didn't even ring. Why wasn't I enough? I breathed as I sank onto the couch. I opened Instagram. Blocked. WhatsApp. Blocked. Messenger. Blocked. Each app felt like another slap. He erased me, I whispered, pressing my palm to my forehead. Like I never mattered. Olivia knocked on my door minutes later. Amelia, open up, she called. I cracked it open, and she stepped in fast. Talk to me, she said. I shook my head. There's nothing to say, I whispered. She looked at my face and sighed. He blocked you everywhere, didn't he? My voice broke as I said, he did it right in front of me. Olivia pressed her hand over her mouth. I'm so sorry. I let out a little laugh that sounded wrong even to me. Sorry doesn't fix anything. Olivia sat beside me and whispered, You didn't deserve this. I didn't answer. I just opened my messages with Ethan, scrolling through the old texts, the good mornings, the I miss you messages, the stupid inside jokes. My fingers hovered over one voice note he sent me months ago. He said he loved me, I whispered. Olivia touched my arm gently. And he lied, she said. That's on him, not you. I looked at her, feeling something inside me crumble. Then why does it feel like I'm the one who failed? Olivia shook her head. Because you cared. And he didn't. I closed my eyes, fighting the burn in my chest. After she left, I walked into the kitchen, grabbed a glass of water, then poured it out untouched. I couldn't swallow anything. Get yourself together, I whispered, staring at my reflection in the microwave door. Stop crying. But my throat kept tightening. I walked to my room, and when I pushed the door open, Clara was sitting on my bed with her arms crossed. Olivia told me, she said. I sighed. Great. Did she tell you how pathetic I looked too? Clara stood up. You're not pathetic. I let out a bitter laugh. I begged him, Clara. I begged him to talk to me. Clara stepped closer. You are in love.
That's not the same as begging.
I wiped my face with my sleeve. He blocked me everywhere.
She nodded.
Then that's your sign to move on. I snapped. I can't just turn it off.
She softened. I know. But you have to try.
I looked away, whispering, I feel so ashamed. Clara said, You loved the wrong person.
That's all. I turned to her.
Then why does it hurt like I'm being punished? She hugged me gently and murmured, Because heartbreak is cruel. But you'll survive. After she left, I lay on my bed and stared at the ceiling.
Hours passed. My room dimmed. My phone stayed silent.
I whispered into the darkness, I won't beg him again.
My chest tightened.
I promise. But as I held my pillow close, another whisper slipped out of me, small, broken, and honest. Please unblock me, just once. I kept replaying everything in my head that morning, whispering to myself as I sat on the edge of my bed. I did this to me, didn't I? The thought stung, but it was true. I made him my whole life, I murmured, rubbing my palms together. I ignored every sign.
Saying it out loud felt like tearing off bandages I'd worn for too long.
When Olivia knocked on my door and asked, You okay to go to work today?
I forced myself to nod. I have to, I said.
If I stay home, I'll drown. She touched my shoulder. Just remember you're not alone. I know, I whispered, though I didn't believe it. Walking into the office felt like walking into a room already filled with smoke. The air tightened around me the moment I heard two voices near the break area. Did you see Lena's post? One whispered.
Yeah.
She's with him now, right? Same night he dumped. Their voices dropped when I passed, but the damage was already done.
My throat burned as I reached my desk.
I tried to breathe steadily, but my hands wouldn't stop trembling. I clenched them under the table, whispering, Don't fall apart.
Not here.
Harper approached slowly, like she could sense the storm.
Hey, she said quietly.
Can we talk for a second?
I swallowed.
Is it about that picture?
Her face softened. Yeah.
I just didn't want you hearing it from people who enjoy gossip.
I sighed and leaned back. It's fine.
Everyone already knows. Everyone always knows before I do.
No, she said firmly. It's not fine.
You don't deserve this humiliation.
The words hit harder than I expected.
Then why does it feel like I do?
I whispered. Harper shook her head.
Because you're hurting, and when we're hurting, we treat pain like punishment we earned.
I felt something crack inside me.
I loved him too much, I said. I made him the center of everything. I lost myself.
That doesn't make you weak, she replied.
It makes you human.
My lips quivered.
Human feels pathetic right now.
Pathetic people don't get up, come to work, and face whispers, she said.
You're stronger than you think. I didn't mean for tears to spill, but once one slipped out, the rest followed. I covered my face. I'm sorry, I didn't want anyone to see me like this.
Then come with me, Harper said, guiding me gently. I followed her into the bathroom, where she locked the door and handed me tissues.
When I finally managed to breathe again, she asked, Do you want to go home?
No, I said.
If I run now, I'll keep running.
She nodded. Then stand.
Even if it's shaky.
I laughed bitterly.
Shaky is my entire personality right now.
But you're still standing, she reminded me.
After she left, I stared at myself in the mirror. My eyes were swollen, but something in my reflection looked different, like a version of me was breaking so another could escape. That night, lying alone in the dark, I whispered, The girl who begged, she can't survive this. My chest tightened, but I pushed through it. I have to rebuild. I have to stop shattering for someone who didn't care I was bleeding. My voice steadied as I said, The girl I used to be dies tonight.
And I won't resurrect her.
For weeks, my phone stayed silent. Every morning, I'd glance at the screen and mutter, Nothing.
Of course.
The silence felt like a message in itself. Ethan didn't care. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. One evening, after another empty notification bar, I whispered, He really thinks I'm gone forever.
Part of me wondered if he preferred it that way. Therapy became my new routine.
After my second session, the therapist asked gently, What do you want now?
To feel like I exist without him, I said.
To stop checking my phone like he's some ghost I owe attention to.
She nodded.
Then start choosing you, even in small ways.
So I did.
I took long walks after work, letting the breeze untangle thoughts I had tried so hard to bury. Some nights I'd whisper to myself, I'm healing. Slowly, but I am. Back at the office, I started noticing Mason Hale. Quiet, observant, always hovering near the break room coffee machine like he wasn't sure he belonged anywhere. One afternoon he approached me with a hesitant smile.
Hey, you're usually here around this time.
Mind if I sit?
I shrugged lightly. Sure.
I'm just trying to stay awake.
He chuckled.
Rough day. Rough month, I admitted.
He didn't pry.
Instead, he stirred his coffee and said, if you ever want someone to just listen,
I'm good at that. I raised an eyebrow.
You offering therapy services now?
Free of charge, he joked softly.
No judgment included.
Something warmed in my chest. Careful.
I might take that offer seriously.
Then take it, he said.
You don't have to handle everything alone. His voice was calm, steady, nothing like the chaos Ethan used to drag me into. The next break, he joined me again. Feeling any better today? He asked. A little, I said. I'm learning how not to fall apart every 5 minutes. Progress, right. Sounds like strength to me.
I let out a small laugh.
You're too kind.
Or you're too hard on yourself, he replied. His words lingered long after he walked away.
A few days later, I made the mistake of opening social media. Ethan's face popped up immediately, him and Lena at some rooftop restaurant, her hand on his chest, his grin too wide to be real.
I stared at the picture until my jaw clenched.
He really posted this, I muttered. Like none of what we had mattered. Olivia peeked into my room. You okay?
No, I said honestly. He keeps flaunting their relationship like it's some trophy.
Like hurting me was a stepping stone.
She sat beside me.
Block him everywhere. I already am, I sighed. But blocking doesn't stop the rage.
What rage? She asked gently.
The rage at myself, I said, pressing my palms to my eyes. For loving him so much that I let him break me.
She touched my shoulder.
That doesn't make you weak. Then why do I feel stupid?
I whispered.
Why did I let him take so much of me?
Because you loved deeply, she said.
That isn't a flaw.
I exhaled shakily.
I'm angry at him too. Angry that he destroyed me like it was nothing.
Good, Olivia said.
Anger means you're waking up. When I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, I whispered, he thinks I'm gone forever.
Maybe that's fine.
Because I'm starting to find myself again. Harper slid into the seat beside me during lunch, lowering her voice. Okay, don't look too interested, but people are talking.
I raised an eyebrow.
About what?
Ethan, she whispered.
Apparently he and Lena had a huge fight. Someone saw him storming out of a cafe yesterday.
I stabbed my fork into my salad a little too hard. Good for them, I said casually. Harper smirked.
You say that like you don't care at all.
I don't, I insisted.
Not really. Inside, though, something shifted, like the universe had finally tapped the scales back into place. Later that week, I sat in a quiet corner at Roseleaf Cafe, nursing a latte, when someone cleared his throat beside me. Amelia, a voice said.
Hey.
I looked up to see Daniel Reyes, one of Ethan's old friends.
I blinked. Daniel? Wow.
Haven't seen you in months.
Yeah.
He rubbed the back of his neck, uncomfortable. Mind if I sit? Sure, I said, even though my stomach tightened.
He sat down and exhaled heavily. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
I feel weird even bringing it up, but you should know.
Know what?
He hesitated, then leaned closer. Ethan cheated on Lena.
I stared at him.
Already?
Yeah. Barely a month in, he muttered. Lena found messages.
She screamed at him in front of half the cafe.
I felt my pulse throb.
So he did to her what he did to me.
Daniel sighed.
Honestly?
Worse.
It's like he doesn't even think before he, screws things up.
I swallowed.
Why are you telling me this?
Because you didn't deserve what he did, he said.
And because he keeps pretending like he's the victim in all this.
I'm sick of hearing it. I inhaled deeply.
Well, thank you.
I guess. He nodded. I'm sorry for the role I played back then.
I should have spoken up sooner.
You can't undo the past, I said gently.
But this means something.
He stood.
If you ever need anything, just ask.
Thanks, Daniel.
When he left, I didn't smile. But inside, just as stirred. Quiet, satisfying, steady. I headed back to work later, feeling lighter than I had in months. I focused harder, pushed myself into tasks that once made me anxious. Even my desk felt different, cleaner, more mine. That afternoon, my boss, Grayson Wells, approached me. Amelia, could I have a moment?
My heart skipped. Of course. We stepped into his glass-walled office. He folded his arms thoughtfully.
I've been observing your progress these past few weeks. Your work ethic, your initiative, it's impressive.
My eyebrows shot up.
Really?
Yes, he said firmly. I want you to lead the new client project.
It's a significant responsibility, but I believe you're ready.
I blinked, stunned. Me?
Lead it.
Yes, he repeated with a small smile.
You've earned it.
I felt something warm bloom inside my chest.
Thank you.
I won't let you down.
I know you won't, he said, gesturing toward the door. Let's get started. Walking back to my desk, I felt a strange clarity, like the first breath after being underwater too long. Ethan was losing things. I was gaining them.
Karma wasn't loud. It was steady.
And for the first time, my life felt like it belonged to me again. I was getting ready for work when Olivia knocked on my door.
Amelia? You need to see this.
I looked up. What now?
She handed me her phone.
Ethan messaged me.
My stomach didn't drop.
It didn't twist. It barely flinched.
What did he say?
She read aloud. Is Amelia okay?
She blocked me everywhere.
I need to talk to her.
Then she scrolled. There's more. Please just tell her I'm sorry.
I exhaled slowly.
Wow. Now he cares. Do you want me to reply? She asked.
No, I said immediately. Leave him on scene.
Olivia stared at me.
You're weirdly calm. I'm trying to feel something, I admitted. But it's empty. At work, I buried myself in the project Grayson assigned. Mason passed by my desk and whispered, You good?
I'm surviving, I murmured. He gave a soft smile.
If you need to step out, just say so. I'm fine, I insisted, even though my chest felt tight. At 5, I grabbed my bag and headed outside, only to stop dead in my tracks.
Ethan stood there,
leaning against the wall, anxiously tapping his foot, scanning every face like he was drowning.
My breath caught. No, I whispered. Not here. He spotted me instantly. Amelia. He pushed off the wall and rushed toward me.
Finally, can we talk? I didn't move.
I didn't answer. I just stared. He ran a shaky hand through his hair.
Look, I know you blocked me, but I needed to see you.
I messed up.
I know that.
I stayed silent. Can you at least say something? He pleaded.
Amelia, please.
I stepped past him. Just walked. His eyes widened.
You're not even going to look at me. I heard the desperation in his voice, sharp, unsteady, nothing like the cold arrogance he used on me before. Still, I kept moving.
He followed.
I made a mistake. Lena and everything fell apart. I should have never.
I stopped and finally turned my head slightly.
Not enough to give him hope.
Just enough to make him feel the distance between us. Ethan's face crumpled. Please don't do this. Don't shut me out like this. I said nothing. Silence poured out of me like a wall.
Heavy, unbreakable. Behind him, I spotted Mason standing by the building entrance, watching carefully, his jaw tight. The moment he saw Ethan step closer to me, Mason shifted, ready to intervene. Ethan noticed my glance and turned.
Who the hell is that? I didn't answer. He stepped closer.
Are you serious? You're with him now. I finally spoke, just one quiet line, move.
He froze.
The trembling in his hands told me everything. He expected tears, screaming, begging. He expected the old version of me, The girl he walked over like she was made of dust.
Instead, I walked away. No rush. No panic. Just control, steady and clean. Behind me, Ethan called. Amelia. Don't leave like this. Talk to me.
But I continued toward the street, feeling something shift deep in my chest.
Power. Not loud or dramatic. Just real.
Mason stepped beside me as I reached the sidewalk. You okay? He asked softly.
I nodded.
For the first time, yes. And I didn't look back. The moment Grayson called my name in the conference room, my chest tightened, not from fear, but from pride. Amelia, outstanding work on the client project, he said, his voice calm but full of respect. I knew you could handle it. Thank you, sir, I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. It's been rewarding.
He smiled and gestured toward a small figure at the doorway.
And this is Sophie, my daughter. She wanted to meet the woman who's been saving the office this month.
Sophie's eyes were wide as she stepped forward. Hi.
You look like someone who survived a storm, she said quietly, tilting her head.
I blinked. I survived.
I whispered, my chest warming.
She nodded seriously. You did. I can tell. I crouched slightly to meet her gaze.
Thank you, Sophie. That's very kind of you. She smiled shyly, and I felt something inside me shift. Innocence, truth, and hope all wrapped up in a tiny human's voice. It made me realize how far I'd come, and how fragile yet strong I truly was. After that, I spent more time with Mason during breaks. You're different, he said one afternoon, leaning against the coffee machine. Stronger. More real.
I sipped my tea. I'm learning to be myself again.
Slowly, but I'm getting there.
He nodded. I like seeing that.
And I like seeing the real you, not the girl you used to be when he had your heart.
I laughed softly.
I guess I'm finally done being that girl. Mason smiled, a little hesitant. Good. Because she wasn't fair to you, or to anyone who actually cares about you.
I exhaled slowly.
Yeah, I know that now. The following week, my phone kept buzzing with unknown caller. Every time, I glanced at it. Every time, I didn't answer. Ethan, trying different numbers, desperate for attention. The first time, I felt the old pang of panic. Maybe I should pick up, I whispered to myself. Then I remembered Sophie's words, Mason's gaze, Grayson's praise. I took a deep breath and said, no, not anymore. The second time, the phone lit up again. Same message, same caller ID mystery. My thumb hovered over the answer button, but I didn't touch it. Instead, I whispered, I don't need him. I don't need his excuses. My silence is louder than anything he can say. By the third call, I realized it. The girl who waited, cried, and begged for him, she was gone. Replaced by someone who would not chase love that wasn't meant to respect her. I set the phone down and felt my chest expand with a quiet power. Mason glanced at me from across the office. You okay? He asked softly. I'm more than okay, I replied. I'm alive, and I'm in control of my life. For the first time in months, I don't care about him at all. He smiled and nodded, understanding exactly what I meant. That evening, walking out of the office, I felt the sun warm my face and thought about everything I had endured. I whispered to the wind, I am not the girl he left behind. I am stronger, wiser, and whole. And I knew, without a doubt, that Ethan's attempts to reach me could never undo what I had rebuilt inside. I had survived the storm. And now, I was the woman he never expected me to become. I was sitting in the cafe, sketching out ideas for a new project, when Daniel slid into the chair across from me. Amelia, you're going to want to hear this, he said, lowering his voice. I raised an eyebrow. What now? Lena dumped Ethan. Publicly, he whispered. Apparently in front of their friends. Called him out on cheating, lying, the works. I blinked. She actually did it. Daniel nodded. And it gets better. His work performance tanked this week. People are talking about his temper, about him blowing up meetings. A small, almost imperceptible smile tugged at my lips. So karma's catching up. I whispered, surprised at how light it made me feel inside. Seems like it, Daniel said. I thought you'd want to know. Even if it's petty. I do, I admitted softly. I really do. Later that afternoon, as I left the office, my phone buzzed.
No number. I didn't answer. But then, I saw him. Ethan.
Standing there by the corner, like some desperate statue frozen in place.
Amelia, he called as I passed. I stopped mid-step but didn't turn. He stepped closer.
Please, can we talk? His voice was strained, uneven, like he was dragging every word from his chest. I turned slowly, just enough to meet his eyes.
Ethan, I said quietly. Look, I can't sleep. I can't eat. I need to hear your voice.
Just, tell me you're okay, he said, urgency and panic lacing every syllable.
I stared at him. Nothing came out. No words.
Just silence. Please, he begged. I know I hurt you. I know I ruined everything, but I need, just one word.
Anything. Amelia.
I inhaled and let it out slowly, my gaze fixed on his face. The old me, the one who would have dropped to her knees, was gone. I didn't flinch, didn't cry, didn't yell.
I simply held my silence.
Talk to me, he shouted, desperation cracking his voice. I can't live like this without you.
I took a measured step forward.
You don't get to control me anymore. He froze, eyes wide, mouth opening and closing like he was trying to swallow his own words.
I'm not that girl anymore, I whispered.
The one who begged, cried, and waited for you to notice me. She doesn't exist.
Ethan's face fell. His lips trembled.
Amelia, don't do this to me. Please. I started walking again, slow and steady. My heels clicked against the pavement like a metronome marking a new rhythm. My rhythm. Amelia, he called again, reaching toward me, but I didn't stop. I could see the panic spreading across his face, the realization dawning that no amount of begging, no frantic apologies, no frantic chasing could touch me anymore. Mason stepped onto the sidewalk, watching silently, ready to intervene if needed. I glanced at him and nodded slightly, and he gave a small reassuring smile.
I kept walking.
Ethan's voice broke behind me, thin and pleading. Amelia, please.
I didn't answer. I didn't need to.
Because for the first time in months, I was untouchable. His perfect world, built on lies, manipulation, and selfishness, was crumbling. And I, finally, was freed. I was sitting on the edge of my bed when Harper handed me Ethan's letter. He said he didn't know how else to reach you, she murmured, watching my face. I nodded, unfolded the pages, and let my eyes move across his handwriting. I'm not crying, I said softly, almost surprised. Harper asked, Are you okay? I answered, Actually, yes. And it was true. Every word I read felt like a door quietly closing behind me. His confession was blunt. He admitted he blocked me because every notification from me made him feel guilty, and guilt was something he couldn't face. He wrote about sleepless nights, panic attacks, and the crushing realization that removing me from his life didn't remove what he'd done. I kept waiting for the sting, the twist in my chest, but there was nothing. My heart stayed steady. Harper whispered, He wants to meet you.
I nodded. One last time, I replied. But not because he deserves it.
I just want to hear myself say what I've needed to say.
She squeezed my hand.
Then go. End it your way. When I arrived at the quiet park, Ethan was already pacing by the bench. The moment he saw me, he froze, then hurried forward, breath shaking. Thank you for coming, he blurted out. I said nothing at first, just watched him unravel. He started talking too fast. I messed everything up. I pushed you away because I felt like I didn't deserve you. I thought if I erased you, I could erase my mistakes.
But it got worse.
Everything got worse. His voice cracked, and he rubbed his face. I'm not sleeping.
I keep thinking about what I did. About how you looked the last time I saw you.
I keep hearing your voice. I raised a hand slightly, signaling him to slow down.
He swallowed hard. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry for hurting you.
I should have fought for us. I should have trusted you. I should have trusted myself.
Tears spilled down his cheeks.
I made the worst mistake of my life. I listened quietly, breathing in the cool air, feeling strangely grounded. For the first time, his regret didn't shake me. It didn't pull me back into old memories or reopen old wounds. It just existed. And I let it stay where it belonged, on his side of the story, not mine.
He stepped closer. Can you just say something? Anything? Please. I need to know if there's a chance.
His desperation hung in the air, heavy and trembling.
I finally spoke, my voice calm, almost soft.
Ethan,
I'm not here to fix you.
I'm not here to make you feel better about what happened.
He blinked rapidly, waiting.
I didn't come because I owe you closure. I came because I wanted to see how I'd feel when you said all this.
And how do you feel? He asked, barely above a whisper.
Free, I said. Completely free.
He looked like the word had pierced him.
His shoulders sagged, his breath slipping out shakily.
I stepped back, meeting his eyes one last time.
I don't owe you anything. I walked away slowly, each step reminding me that choosing myself was the real ending, the only closure I ever needed from this broken chapter. If you'd like, I can generate 2 image prompts for this chapter as well. Ethan stood in front of me, eyes wide, hands twitching slightly as if he wanted to reach out but couldn't find the courage.
Amelia, please. Say something.
Anything, he begged. I didn't. I just watched him, steady, breathing in the cool evening air. I know I hurt you, he continued, voice trembling. I know I ruined everything we had.
But I
need you to tell me it's over. Please, just.
I remained silent.
Not because I didn't hear him, but because every word I might have said would have given him power. And he had taken enough from me already. You're not even looking at me, he whispered, almost pleading now.
Do you hate me?
Do you even feel anything?
I didn't answer. I let him wait.
I let him fumble under the weight of his own mistakes. Every second stretched long, heavy, and electric.
I was stupid.
I was selfish, he said, his voice cracking. I didn't deserve you. I'll never forgive myself. I inhaled slowly, calm, steady.
My silence spoke louder than any words ever could. It wasn't cruelty. It was strength.
It was the message he'd refused to hear for months. I was no longer his to control.
He took a step closer. Please. Look at me. Talk to me.
Tell me there's a chance.
I shook my head ever so slightly.
Not in denial, not in anger.
Just in quiet finality.
You're impossible, he muttered, almost to himself. You always were.
Finally, I started walking. Slow, measured steps. Each one reminded me that this moment belonged to me.
I could feel the weight of months lifting off my shoulders. The girl who cried, begged, and clung was gone. The woman standing here now was free.
Ethan's voice broke behind me. Amelia, don't go like this.
Not without saying goodbye.
I didn't turn. I didn't slow. My heart was calm. My head was clear. The silence was my answer.
When I reached home, I closed the door behind me and sank onto the couch. I let out a long, steady breath, letting it fill me and then release the tension I had carried for so long. The quiet of my apartment felt like a safe cocoon.
My phone buzzed.
Mason. I answered, voice steady for the first time in months. Hey.
Amelia? Are you okay?
His concern was gentle, patient. I smiled, a small, private curve of my lips. Yes. I'm more than okay.
He exhaled audibly on the other end.
I'm glad. I leaned back, closing my eyes. The woman staring at me in the reflection of the window wasn't the girl who begged for someone who didn't care.
She was strong. She was steady. She was whole. And finally, she was proud.
I whispered to the empty room. I am enough.
I always was.
The city lights flickered outside, soft and distant. I didn't need him, his apologies, or his explanations.
Not anymore. My silence had said everything.
And it had set me free.